Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, we'll hear from the family of a man killed when his vehicle fell through the ice in northern Minnesota on Christmas Eve.
Plus, see how a wild snowmobile ride ended in serious damage to a Pelican Rapids home.
And see how folks in Moorhead are helping a family coping with tragedy. It's Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
I'm still feeling just at a loss.
Christmas Eve tragedy acting as a safety reminder for everyone tonight. Good evening. I'm Justin Betty.
And I'm Stacy Van Dyke. Tonight, a woman is remembering her father. He and his life partner, Marcy, were rescued after their vehicle fell through the ice on Lake Bemidji. Valley News Team's Nashay Taylor has the exclusive story on this father-daughter bond and the woman's message on ice safety.
I always gave him a big hug and told him I loved him every single time I talked to him.
Twyla Jesso says she and her father, John Klassen III, had a very special bond.
We were very close. Since he retired, we've spent a lot of time together camping and doing other things.
But now all she has are the memories they share together.
I never took for granted every moment I had with him.
On Christmas Eve, Klassen was spending the day enjoying his love for ice fishing on Lake Bemidji.
My grandpa asked him if it was, if there was enough ice, and my dad said there's 12 inches. It's good because he had been out there previously.
But being on the ice can often be unpredictable. The vehicle John and his life partner Marcy were riding in fell through the ice on the lake. Marcy was able to escape, but John had to be pulled from the water by rescuers. He was 69 years old.
What was going through my mind was that he was going to make it.
Unfortunately, he did not. And now she has to live a life without him.
We have a camping trip or a trip to a cabin we go to every year in Alexandria, and thinking that he won't be there.
Although her father won't physically be around, there are a few traits Twyla says she will always remember about her father.
His simple, honest advice and truth, and his excitement over going ice fishing.
And her message for those looking to go out on the ice.
I wouldn't want an event like this to scare other people from going. I just would like to see people making sure that they're safe.
In Bemidji, Nashay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Now, Twyla says her father's girlfriend is doing well and she's now home after being released from the hospital earlier today.
Well, outside, the snow has finally stopped. Now our attention shifts to some dangerously low temperatures. Valley News Live meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us now live with your first look at the forecast. Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. After that snow has exited, that Arctic air has moved its way in. You can just feel the cold by looking at our Grand Forks Home of Economy Skycam. You can see the snow-covered roadways there in front of this Home of Economy location as well. And yeah, that snow is out there as well. Got a report from the Grand Forks Airport today of that 6 inches of snowfall at the airport again, but 8.5 inches here was reported in the Shevlin area. Sharon shared this one with us of that snowfall measurement. And then there's the snowfall across the board. Lavinia, the big winner in Beltrami County of 11.5 inches. And there's Wadena also 8 inches. Poposky at 7 inches. And then also near that 6-inch mark is Mahnomen and Leonard. Park Rapids and Perham both around 5 inches there, with everything being pretty much said and done. You can still see some clouds lingering in Lake of the Woods County. May still see a few flakes and flurries there in Beltrami and Lake of the Woods County, but as that system exits off toward the north and east, that cold rockets its way in, and it's really making its presence known. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here to our far eastern counties. We'll still see some clouds here or there, but really by and large, the most active of that weather is done. There's the current air temperatures, 21 below in Grand Forks, where that Home of Economy Skycam was showing just how cold it is. 18 below this hour in Fargo, 20 below in Langdon, 22 in Oaks, a couple of the coldest spots. Here's the wind chill, though. 41 below that wind chill Grand Forks, 31 below in Fargo, 40 below in Langdon. Justin, Stacy, going to be even colder as the temperatures drop and the wind picks up overnight. So we'll talk about how cold things get and talk about a stretch of Arctic weather on the way.
All right, thanks, Nathan.
And with those bone-chilling cold temperatures, make sure you have the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with that weather anytime, anywhere. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store. You download it for free.
A wild ride on a snowmobile left major damage to a home in Pelican Rapids, and it was all caught on camera. Take a look at this. Police say the snowmobiler realized the sled was going to crash and jumped off to try and avoid it, but he didn't have a tether, so the snowmobile kept going, speeding through a garage that the homeowners had pulled out of just seconds before.
Trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Miraculously, no one was hurt in that accident. Estimated damages haven't been calculated. Today in Grand Forks County, 2 crashes involving trains. Officials say charges are pending against 34-year-old Jacob Peterson, saying he turned in front of a train around 3:30 this afternoon in Northwood. He was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. 4 hours earlier, another man, a 42-year-old from Thief River Falls, was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries after his semi was struck by a BNSF train. That crash remains under investigation.
What authorities say was one of the most gruesome crimes in North Dakota state history. A North Dakota man will now spend the rest of his life in prison for murdering 4 people back in 2019. Today, a judge sentenced Chad Isaak to life in prison without parole. Isaak was convicted of killing 4 people at RJR Maintenance and Management in Mandan back in April of that year. Prosecutors say he planned the attacks, shooting 3 of the victims and fatally stabbing the 4th. Investigators do not have a motive for these killings, and Isaak refuses to admit any wrongdoing. A Mahnomen man is now charged with taking part in riots in downtown Fargo last year. Unsealed court documents show 25-year-old Patrick Porter seen throwing concrete at police officers and spray painting anti-police slogans. Police also say Porter and others threw rocks and chairs from the roof of the Hotel Donaldson onto law enforcement officers below. Porter faces felony conspiracy to commit criminal mischief and other charges. If convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison.
Many are scratching their heads tonight as the CDC has now cut the recommended COVID isolation period in half, from 10 days to 5. And while some are excited for the change, experts at Essentia Health say if you're showing symptoms, you do not qualify for that shorter time.
I think if there's one thing that the COVID pandemic has taught us is that things will continue to change, and we'll have to modify our recommendations and our lifestyles to accommodate those changes.
Dr. Vetter says if you're asymptomatic, the new guidelines say you should isolate for 5 days before you head back out into the world, and then you should still wear a mask for the next 5 days. If you're showing symptoms, you should stay home for the full 10 days. There's still time for you to help raise money for the family of 7 found dead in their Moorhead home last week from carbon monoxide poisoning. All of today's haircut proceeds collected at Moeller Barber College in Fargo, as well as tamale sales from La Unica Mexican Market, have been promised to the Hernandez Pinto family and hopes to lay all 7 members to rest in their home country of Honduras.
I want to do everything I can because I can just about imagine how it would feel like, you know, they want to be back where most of their family is and everything. So I think it's important that we all get together as a community and just support that.
Both store owners tell us they'll continue to collect money for the family all this week.
Harry Reid, former Senate Majority Leader and Nevada's longest-serving member of Congress, has died. He was 82, been battling pancreatic cancer for the past 4 years. Still to come on Valley News Live at 10 is a story nearly 70 years in the making, connecting folks in 2 towns hundreds of miles apart.
In Fargo, you can see overnight dropping to those -20s with that west wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight in Fargo. In Grand Forks, same story, dropping to those -20s for us by the time we get going for our Wednesday morning, and that means we could break a low temperature record. It's in jeopardy for tomorrow morning. We'll break down that forecast next.